In today's video, we're going to be going over 6 tips that will allow you to get more kills in Season 6 on Rebirth Island. Now, if you are subscribed, which by the way, if you're not subscribed, my whole goal is just to help you become a better player and start to get more kills, start to play more consistent. But if you are subscribed, you know that in just about every single video, I give you as much information, as many tips as possible, and ultimately I want you to pull 1 or 2 things out of it, apply it to your own game at which you'll improve. But today's is going to be a little bit different. 6 very easy concrete tips that you can immediately implement that will allow you to start to easily get more kills on Rebirth Island. And we're going to do that while breaking down a 43 kill win that I had the other day. Now, number one is something that we do talk about pretty often here in my videos, but I want to narrow it down a little bit. Cash flow awareness. Okay, we talk about cash flow awareness a lot, specifically like grabbing contracts, making sure we're looting bodies, not boxes, you know, making sure we have good cash flow. But I actually want to narrow that down one guy up above, so we're immediately going to go ahead and challenge this. I want to talk about this a little bit later on. There's a little thing that we can take away from that situation that I really want you to work on here, but we're going to go ahead and take away this AFK guy as well. He was probably subscribing down below if I had to guess. You know, cash flow awareness. What do you notice right here? 99.9% of you guys struggle with actually recognizing your cash flow. So I just want you to work on being more aware of it. In this case, I've got enough for my primary. Primary early along with my static puts me in a really good position to get long range kills out of the sky, open up fights in a safer, safer spot where I can fight in that 20 to 30 meter range as opposed to fighting right on top of people. So we're going to buy the Deter 30 right here, and then we start to get to work. Now, this next thing is going to be a 2-part tip. Number 2 is going to be next piece of information. Now, the first way that I want to address this is just pushing something, right? We have this right here. We've got these guys up top here. We've got this guy right here. We've got this solo player over here. We've got different options. Just push something. But the second thing that I want to talk about is a lot of times stacking happens when you're not acting on that next piece of info. So you're going to especially see it through here. And I'm always working towards that next piece of information that I have, right? I'm checking minimap here. We see this guy pushing up. We're going to go ahead and get that kill. Look at the minimap right here, okay? I want you to just watch the minimap, okay? Notice we have this enemy up above, this enemy on my level, this enemy down below. Watch this enemy down below right here. Watch how he is moving. Watch how you can track the fact that he's pushing up the stairs. Now, when we talk about next piece of info, guys, we're going to act on the next piece of info. We're going to react to the situation. Okay, this is something new that I've started talking about. We're going to act on the info. Those guys were, that guy was pushing. What do I react to? Enemy number 2 flying around this corner. Now, in this moment, guys, we have an option. We can challenge here. We took a little bit of damage. We have the broken Deter battle rifle, which is great in this range. Or we can back off, replay, and then re-engage. I decide to play this a little bit aggressive, and I fight. We just strafe. We execute really well. Look at one guy up above, but listen. You hear the boat? So now all of a sudden, look at this right here. This is where next piece of information. We have one guy up above. We have one guy on the boat. Doesn't matter which guy you push, right? I'm going to go ahead and start to work my way down here, and then I decide to jump out. Now, what does acting on the next piece of information give me? Well, it gives me the fact that there's one guy on the boat, but I also catch this guy flying in. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to get that kill, but if that guy was a little bit higher, that's kill potential that I got simply because I acted on the next piece of information. So right here, we're going to hear one guy shooting above, one guy flying in. So what do? We act on the next piece of information. Tip number 3, guys, I really just want you to work on your centering and anticipation. Specifically this right here. When we talk about clearing buildings, this is where a lot of you struggle. So first things first, guys, a lot of anticipation is just slide canceling around corners. It's just timing your slide cancel, right? Crosshairs are out. I'm expecting this guy to be over this direction here. So my crosshairs are out and I'm ready to shoot. When we talk about process of elimination, though, he's not on my level. I know that he didn't land on the roof, so I'm just going to anticipate with intent that he's here and actually pre-fire this corner. When we pre-fire, number 1, we get this advantage. Number 2, half the time it scares the guy. I mean, if you get pre-fired, it kind of throws you off a little bit. Next piece of information, 2 guys on the rooftop right here. Notice as I'm reloading, I'm already working my way that direction. Really awkward fight right here, but what do you notice? One guy in grandma's, okay? One guy on the boat. I want you to remember that, right? So after this kill right here, we immediately look, and the first thought here is anybody even close to me? So as I'm getting that full kill, I see one in grandma's here and one guy on the boat. So what do we do from here? Next piece of information, right? We're going to go ahead. We're going to work our way up top. I'm going to reload real quick. I'm going to check Grandma's. I don't see anybody at Grandma's, so we work on the next piece of information here, which is this guy back behind me. We live ping, play a little bit patient, right? We let him get a little bit more out in the open, almost to the point of no return, where there's nothing else that he can do to get away. One guy flying in above. This guy's going to be over aggressive. Ends up not being able to pull a shoot. Classic right there. Happens to all of us. And we're already up to 9 kills. Now from here, we're in a little bit of an interesting spot. I don't really know where I want to go. There's nobody really around me. So at this moment, I'm kind of thinking zip a little bit. We want to get into the action. You know, in this case, the next piece of information is, hey, let's just kind of push these weapon pings. And that's a big area that I want you to work on, guys, when it comes to the information dynamic, is just like weapon pings in hot areas, right? We have some weapon pings. We know that prison tends to be hot. If we get to prison and there's nobody there, we know that control is going to be hot. Now, what ends up happening here is I hear somebody. Okay, so I hear some footsteps. Watch the process of elimination, okay? This is how we clear buildings. Is he in here? I don't see him anywhere, okay? I don't see him anywhere, so we work our way down low, right? Is he straight back anywhere, right? Is he anywhere over this way? I don't see him, so now I'm going to assume that he is in this room. We can go ahead, we jump through the window, and we can go ahead and get the down and thirst. Now, immediately in this moment, there's 2 things that you want to recognize. Now, one of them I recognized earlier. Number one, we obviously have nobody around me except for all of these dots over here, right? So we have some information now that we can rotate to prison. Number 2 is just what we talked about the first time, cash flow awareness. We've got 12 grand here, and I make an interesting decision. Now, I was kind of playing this game out a little bit with this in mind, that I'm going to go ahead and with that cash flow awareness say, hey, I know there's some people at prison. Let me go ahead and get this loadout down. So at this point, guys, we are going to have loadout number 1, right? Okay. Loadout number 1. We have free loadout, and we technically have biometric scanner as well, right? So I have 3 ways now that I can easily secure loadout without me landing back where I killed somebody or landed where I died, or having to loot up for loadout all over again. So a lot of times with that cash flow, we can think about that regain, because second and third circle, when you lose momentum, if you struggle to regain, that's where so many of you lose pace. By the way, guys, if you're not already, I'll keep going. I'll keep earning your sub here, but if you want to get better, make sure you are subscribed down below. Information overload here, okay? So in this moment, we just got to be a little bit careful, right? We just got to be a little bit strategic. We don't want to be too over-aggressive. We can't just put ourselves into a bad position. Now, one thing that we can do, not on the 6 tips for today, but is strafing to cover, okay? So these guys are trapped in the corner. I eventually realize here, if I flip my camera off, that there's another enemy to my right side here, okay? So you're going to see him right back here. He was tucked behind my camera there the first time. So I'm going to strafe backwards. Boom. See how we strafe backwards to give ourselves cover? I'm still going to shoot this guy, right? But you can do that a lot of times when it comes to, you know, strafing backwards, strafing left and right while shooting. This way you can kind of peek behind that wall if you're a little bit caught out in the open. And now we're just going to play this rooftop. We have a ton of information around me. This is a big thing here. You know, and this is something that if you want bonus takeaways, this is absolutely one. If you have this much information, guys, just try to play your positioning a little bit. Try to find your angles, and you're going to see me do that here throughout, okay? So, unfortunately, we just run out of ammo there, but, you know, we play our positioning on these guys up top. We're able to pick up a kill. We catch the guys flying in, again, prioritizing that long-range option so that I can get these kills, right? Very easy to get that kill right there. Unfortunate. Now, still a bunch of people down below me. When we talk about playing angles, guys, close quarters positioning, right? So again, not one of the 6 tips for today. This is all next piece of information. I'm going to work my way down, and instead of just kind of pushing in and guessing on stuff, I'm just going to play the outside of the building. And you can do this anywhere, right? So you can play positioning right here, okay? So this guy's right in front of me. You can do this here. You can do this at factory. You can do this from grandma's house, from headquarters, from living quarters, where you're playing to look into a window without actually being in the same building. And it's a great way to do it because of this right here, right? So I just didn't like that jump that I got. Just didn't feel like, I just felt like, you know, I took a ton of damage there. You could see I immediately knew that he got first shot off. Notice the strafing to the right side, exactly what we talked about to get behind cover. And now we're just gonna back off here. Okay, so we're in a little bit of a tougher position. Now, number 4 here is going to be a big one. I want to go back to that cash flow awareness dynamic, which is, I really, guys, please, by the way, watch the mini-map, see him on my level. So now we short slide cancel here, okay? This is where, you know, these little things really help you. Look at the mini-map. We see him on my level. So I'm anticipating that he's going to challenge this. Watch this. See how I don't really tack sprint. I just kind of... I move forward and then I slide cancel to get my crosshairs back out. We win that gunfight. Number 4 is going to be loot bodies, not boxes. This isn't the best example when it comes to, you know, a game of looting bodies, not boxes. We did have that 12 grand early that we had momentum with. Now we're at 4 right here, but I just really want you to work on not looting boxes as much. It's distracting. The only time I would say, listen to this right here. The one time I would tell you to loot bodies, is to loot boxes is if you're at like 5K and there's 2 boxes around you, like try to get that extra for the UAV. But I'm at 4K here. Like I know I can get portable radar. We see this guy flying in on the backside right here. So now we can go ahead and really start to work this direction. Now, what happens when we act on the next piece of info? I just happen to run into this team, right? I didn't know that they were there. We're going to go ahead and fly across. I ended up getting smoked. So what do? We create our cover. We start to go ahead in here and finesse. 17 kills. I'm going to really start to kind of let this play a little bit, guys. We're going to start to let this play a little bit more. You know, number 1, recognizing cash flow. Number 2, next piece of information. Next piece of information right here. Down below me to my right side. We challenge immediately. We center. We anticipate. Very easy kill getting that first shot off because he's just not expecting me to full send him and just fly at him like that. Also, notice there is one guy back behind me here, so we got to worry about that. He was on my level if we caught that. I actually don't know if I caught in that moment. I actually didn't catch it in that moment, so that was almost a mistake here. Now I hear him. We're going to go ahead. We center around the corner. Look at the centering here throughout. And watch this play, guys. This is where we start to play a little bit more unpredictable, right? We've got to just think about how you would play this situation. Like, is this how you would have played it, kind of taking different angles? And he makes a really good play right here. Slides past me. That's that long slide. That's the opposite of what we did in prison where he long slid. Kind of forced me to track, which is a really tough spot to be in. Bunch of people down below me. Not 100% sure where. I go to thermite, and of course, it gets hit by the trophy system. So, quick plate, and we're going to re-engage this. I hear him around the corner. Actually, we don't plate up first. Strafing, down, thirsted, anticipate, pre-fire. Right? See that pre-fire in that centering right there? That's a pretty easy one. That pre-firing dynamic, once again, it throws people off and allows you to get that first shot off. Now you see the cash flow awareness right here. UAV, pop, we're gonna buy another one, and now we immediately go get back in the action. By the way, if there were dots everywhere in prison here, like all over like this, similar to how there is in factory, I probably would have pushed prison. But in this case, I'm just gonna go into the hot area and get into the mix. One guy up top. This is a big one. This is actually number 5, is to start to pay attention to the little things. You know, when we talk about next piece of information, the more information you can get, guys, the easier this game. But watch this detour right here. Freaking crazy. That is absolutely insane. The more information you get, the easier the game becomes, right? If I tell you that there's a solo player right here to the right side and you can track exactly where he's moving to, you need to be able to get this kill. If you can't get that kill, then it's an execution issue. And at the end of this video, I have a video on how to practice if you have 1 to 5 hours a day to play. But regardless, the little things, okay? We always talk about UAVs. We always talk about portable radars. Enemy dropping in. Little things like that. Why? Because what does that do for me? When my UAV runs out, okay, not necessarily here, but I'm able to get that kill out of the sky, that gives me more information, at which point I can act on tip number 2, the next piece of info. So it's a great way to open up fights. But besides that, guys, I'm talking about, you know, enemy flying in, weapon pings, you know, those little pieces of information that will allow you to start to ultimately act more confidently and play more confidently. If you are subscribed, confidence equals information plus execution. It's exactly what I outlined. If you have the information and you have the ability to execute in a 1v1, there's no reason that you should hesitate to push it. If you are hesitating to push it, right? If you have a 1v1 fight and you are not confident to push it, it's because you don't trust yourself to actually win that. This is actually nasty here. And we use the smoke to our advantage. I'm going to use this smoke to our advantage to get the re-knock here. Down. Now, immediately I notice 2 teams, okay? So watch this right here. When we talk about tip number 5, little things, it's stuff like this that a lot of you guys miss. Okay, so I push up top here. I get the re-knock. Okay, I'm going to trust the smoke here. Down. Now I see the ping on the guy down below, back behind me. He's on the rooftop. But when I then reload and hear shooting to my back right, this is 2 teams. Right? So I know as soon as I get that re-knock that I've got to worry about this guy around the corner. So piecing together that information is super, super important as well. I almost get caught here in a really bad spot, but we decide to back off here. We don't over challenge. We're in an okay spot with a little close quarters positioning, and we're already at 32 kills. There's only 4 teams left at this point. There's only 4 teams left. So we're in a, obviously a little bit of a more dead lobby here, but we're getting right back into the mix. Now from here, guys, 31 seconds, not 100% sure where anybody is. I kind of want to remove that guess component. So number 6, and if you made it this far, guys, I really appreciate it. Cannot thank you enough. I hear people back behind me in headquarters, okay? So I know that I ran by the gas mask, but I ran by the gas mask because I was nervous about these people in here and the fact that they have to rotate in. Number 6 is going to be end game information. Now, we always talk about in circle with cover then power position, right? We want to be in circle with cover. That gives us an opportunity to play safe, right? We could always buy time until the next circle if we need to, but ideally we can get power position. That's not what I want to focus on necessarily. I want to focus on just piecing together where everybody is, okay? I want you to work on that. There's 4 teams left here. I've got this guy right here who I'm going to go ahead and put the pressure on because I have a massive advantage, right? So we get the down, we get the thirst. I've got 2 teams potentially fighting back behind me to the left side here. I've got a team fighting, shooting over this way. So all of a sudden, I'm kind of piecing, and by the way, notice this just flipped to 3 teams left. So I'm kind of piecing together where everybody is. Now, I don't know exactly where people shooting down below here. We're down to 10, and I'm going to play this a little bit more aggressive because I was chasing 40. I really, really wanted the 40 right here. So I'm going to push and play a little bit more aggressive. Usually, I would kind of tell you to start to think about top prison, see if you can get that high ground, if you can hold it. And you're actually going to see me back off here. Like, I'm starting to think I'm in a pretty tough spot here. We've got the deter in the meta right now, which kills so fast. So the last thing that I need is to get shot in the back here and end up going down because I was chasing these kills on people that would have to rotate into me anyway. 2 other teams left, so it's very clear at this point, guys, that it's the team down here and the team over to my left side. At this point, we kind of have that information and we know it. Now, I still have to be careful here because I can hear the guys up top of me. So I know the fact that there's 2 teams at this point kind of floating around. So I'm going to go ahead and just get into circle, right? Let's just get into circle here. Let's be strategic. Let's not be too over aggressive here. I'm trying to find these kills floating around because I know I need them for the 40, but I also can't get caught in a bad spot, which even here I'm in a little bit of a tough spot. And then when I get that down in thirst, I realize I'm in a terrible spot and I just need to get into zone. Now I want you to think about this, okay? If you made it this far, this is an extra little challenge for you. You get a little bonus. What's your thought process here? Okay. What are you thinking in this moment? In this moment, what I'm thinking is, okay, I know there's a team on roof. How do we challenge them? We obviously cannot take, this could be tough to see, but we obviously cannot take that stairwell. We could push this way, but it kind of feels like it's a little bit long to get there. Let's go take zip, or we can take the ladder, right? Let's go see if we can get... I'm not even saying I have to win high ground. In an ideal world, I can win high ground. But you're going to see right here that I'm going to push up top. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to be able to get a kill or 2, and then I just back off, right? I just kind of... There's one straight ahead of me there. Can't quite get that one there. We can get this one right here. We get the jailbreak. There's the down. There's the thirst. I don't know where anybody is. We obviously don't get those minimap pings after a kill. One backside this way. He's dead as well. Get high alert in the back. I peek it. I get shot by 2 different enemies, or one was looking at me. One shot me from the right. So I'm just going to back off here, okay? I'm not going to be too over aggressive and try to fight for that rooftop, especially with this circle rotation, right? Notice that this circle rotation here, prison's not in. The one thing I didn't recognize was that this is in, right? This is technically in circle with cover than power position. That's a really good spot to be up there. This is a little bit of a tougher spot to be. So you're going to see me kind of work my way back up just a little bit. Now let's talk about end game information, okay? This is important. This is where you got to remember where people are. I want you to remember, not that guy. There's a different guy that's going to fly back behind me here in a second. I know that there's this team on rooftop here. Oh, watch this. See this guy over here? Look at this guy. See this guy? So I know that he's rotating down the hill. Remember that, okay? Because I'm worried about what's in front of me. Everybody's in front of me here, except for that one enemy. So I cannot let him flank me and get behind me here. These guys have to rotate. This is why you always try to rotate early, because then good players will literally just hold you out of circle. There's nothing that you can actually do. Buy back behind me. They got a really good rotation. There was one guy down below this way that I heard. So we're going to take him out here and then go back to work with his detour. There's number 41. There's number 42. There's number 43. There's number 44. Pretty easy one right there. And now where's the last enemy? Wait, was this 40? I thought this was 43. It's actually 46. So it's a 1v2 situation, right? Make sure you're using that enemy and team counter, enemy and player, team and enemy counter to know how many people there are left. Now at this point, guys, I know where the last enemy is. It's just a matter of executing and finding him. Not going to play over aggressive here. As soon as I see him jump back, I'm going to use this opportunity to get in circle here. I'm still going to play this a little bit patient. I want to avoid the head-on 50-50 situation, right? Bad things happen, awkward things happen in head-on 50-50 situations. So we know where he is because of this live ping right here. We're able to get the advantage there with me shooting him in the back. At this point, it's a pretty easy kill, guys, and that is 46. I hope you enjoyed today's video. 6 things, guys: recognizing cash flow, next piece of information, anticipation and process of elimination when clearing buildings, loot bodies, not boxes, the little pieces of info, right? Enemy flying in, weapon pings, recognizing it's multiple teams, and number 6, remembering endgame information. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.